right, good people. Welcome back, man, to the Steelers Report. And we're going to talk a little bit about Le'Veon Bell here tonight. And I'll wait for a few of you guys to get up in here, man, and we'll have at it. So I told you guys, man, I would be back. You know, when there's some news to talk about. And we're just going to talk a little bit about Le'Veon Bell, man. And again, you guys know how I do. Let me just share the link really quick with a few folks here. And we'll get it started. We will get it started. How's everybody doing tonight, man? How's everybody feeling about what we're currently seeing in free agency? You know, we saw most of the splashes take place yesterday. And of course, guys, you know, there's still more that's going to happen. You know, we got to stay tuned for that. But like I said, tonight, man, I won't be too long. I won't be before you too long. We're just going to talk about Le'Veon Bell. And that's all we're going to basically talk about here tonight. And I'm almost done. Let me share the link out with one more person. And then we will be ready to go. And you probably hear water in the background. My wife is taking a shower. I'm down in the man cave. And y'all know how it goes. Water goes from the top down to the bottom. So you're going to hear it running through the pipes or what have you. But how's everybody doing, man? Let me say what's up to you guys who are currently in the chat. Really quick. And again, phone number is there on the screen. If you want to call in, if you have some comments, I'll be happy to take your call. But we can be reached at 619 area code 924-0818. So let me see who was all up in the chat really quick. Then we'll have it. You know, we'll have at it. So let's see. AB84, what's up? Michael Garmin, Rel Fax. Vista Light, Joseph Della Vicia, what up, Rollin? Maurice Ware, the Gaming Duck, Scott Satodi, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Clifton Milliner, Yinzer Mob, City Boy, Roman Alexis, what was that? YM Luop, and Blair O'Neill. All right, so here we are, guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. Well, I'll wait a few more minutes. And see what you guys got. You know, wait for a few more of you to get up in here. And yeah, let's talk about some of the people, man, that are off the board right now. I did just see, shout outs to Jason Miles. He just posted Tyrell Williams is gone. He's going to go to the Raiders. You know, I was hoping that would be a guy that we would be after. I know they said that we inquired about him, but, you know, just inquiring. They never really told us exactly, you know, what that meant. Never really said whether or not, you know, that the Steelers were full-blown interested. It just said we inquired about him. So he's off the board. Quite a few people went off the board again today. You know, you saw the Ravens. The Ravens signed Earl Thomas, and Mark Ingram, which I did say last night, if you guys remember. If you listened to Terrible Towel Tuesday, I did say I felt like the Ravens were going to sign Mark Ingram. You know, there was some speculation out there. A lot of people were thinking it was going to be Le'Veon Bell. It was not. So there you have it. Earl Thomas going to be in Baltimore to replace Eric Weddle. I think that's a definitely, you know, significant upgrade there. No disrespect to Eric Weddle, but come on, man. Earl Thomas is, you know, if he can stay healthy, if his legs can hold up or what have you, he's going to be a force to deal with. And it, you know, kind of scares me a little bit because we all know, you know, how Ben Roethlisberger gets down sometimes, you know, against the Ravens defense. And, you know, we've had success against them. I'm just talking about how Ben Roethlisberger sometimes, you know, can fall for the okie doke. And you can't do that with a ball hawk like Earl Thomas or just a heady guy like Earl Thomas. So that's going to be something to contend with. And Mark Ingram, you know, Mark Ingram is the type of guy that runs very hard, you know, picks his spot. He's not going to do a lot of fooling around. You saw the 1-2 punch that he was when he was down in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. You know, I just think, you know, again, adding that to Lamar Jackson, that's going to be something special, I think. And I can't remember who else they got out there. I think I saw somebody told me at least that I believe that, what's the kid's name? Alex Collins. I think the Ravens may have let him go. That was surprising, but there you have it. And, you know, and other people that's getting cut, you know, around the league, Eric Berry, you know, I can understand, you know, Eric Berry has been injured the last couple years. He is 30 years of age right now, so it might be tough for him to get a deal. We'll see if anybody takes a chance at him. I hear that the tight end, Jared Cook, is reportedly going to meet with the Saints supposedly tomorrow or tonight, whatever they said. You know, I just saw the reports. So again, hoping that we would be able to jump out there and get somebody like that. There's still a few guys out there, man. I don't know if I can find them really quick. But there's still a few guys, man, that I see on my radar. You know, maybe the Steelers go after one of the cheaper, you know, free agents. You're going to start seeing that now. I think we are still going to plug some holes, but you're going to start to see those cheaper, you know, contracts now that we made the splash with Steven Nelson. I did have opportunity to look at a little bit of his film. I'm going to look some more tonight. Like what I see, you know, and again, if you haven't already, make sure you know, go look at SteelersDepot.com. Alex Kazor, Dave Bryan over there, they do a phenomenal job. But Alex put up a great article showing the good, bad, and the ugly of Steven Nelson. Kind of what I talked about last night. You know, from when I've watched Kansas City games, I've seen the kid make great plays, and I've also seen him give up some plays. And, you know, that's going to happen with a cornerback. But while we're talking about him really quick, and I'll wait for a few more of you guys to get up in here before we dive into the Le'Veon Bell news. Let me show you really quick what we got going on here. I got the contract information on Steven Nelson. Very advantageous for the Steelers, man. Let me read it to you. So Steven Nelson, okay, he was given a $25.5 million contract on a 3-year deal. But look at how it's structured, okay? 25.5, that includes a $7.5 million signing bonus. Nelson's base salary for 2019, 2020, and 2021 are reportedly to be at $1.5 million in 2019, $5.25 million in 2020, and $8.25 million, and that would be supposedly in 2021. Now, he also has a roster bonus of $3 million that's scheduled for 2020. Nelson's salary cap charges in those 3 years are scheduled to be $4 million, 10.75, and then another 10.75. So clearly, just like it says here in the article, and I'll read it to you here verbatim, it says here, let me get back to it. Nelson will effectively pocket $9 million in 2019, $12 million through March of 2020, and $17.25 million through the first 2 years of his deal. The roster bonus he's due on the 5th day of 2020 league year gives the Steelers somewhat of an out should they need to get rid of him. And it basically says cutting Nelson prior to paying him his roster bonus would result in dead money charge of, of just $5 million in 2020. And I say of just because, again, guys, you got to understand when you're talking about NFL contracts, I know $5 million sounds like a whole heck of a lot to us. And, oh, yeah, I would enjoy that if I had it. But dead money of $5 million, you know, that comes and goes. That's a dime a dozen in the NFL. But it sounds like a very advantageous contract the way the Steelers structured it. And again, it just goes to show you how these guys get it done. Okay, I know a lot of people were nervous and upset about when they heard $25.5 million, but again, you have to understand how the Steelers do their contracts. And again, that sounds very favorable for the Steelers should he not work out in this year, cut ties, and boom. And that's another reason why I feel like the Steelers are definitely going to go corner at some point in the draft as well. But I didn't want to, really talk about Steven Nelson tonight, even though this is the Steelers report. I want to definitely focus in on Le'Veon Bell. Now, as far as Le'Veon Bell, guys, let's get to him really quick. And again, if you guys want to call, man, the phone number is right there on the screen. Area 619-924-0818. I'll be happy to let you come on and speak your piece. Now, let's talk about Le'Veon Bell a little bit, man. Let me get back to Bell's contract here. Give me just a second, man. We're going to break this thing down. Because essentially my first thoughts, man, when I heard the news of what was speculated of his guaranteed money, it sounded very low at first, right? And then, well, yeah, we'll get into that. I was going to get into, well, hold on. Before we do the Bell situation, well, actually, no. Let me take that back. Let me dive into Bell, and then I'll give a couple other little small things I want to talk about. Then I'll go to the chat. Okay, so Le'Veon Bell. When the news first came out, I'm trying to find the exact contract here, guys. So give me a moment if I can find it here. I might not be able to find it in time, but no worries. Let's see. Can I find it? Can I find it? Yeah, here we go. So it says that Le'Veon Bell has a 4-year contract, $52.5 million, and he will average just around 13 per. And it's basically saying that in the first few years or what have you, the way they're saying his guaranteed money is roughly about $35 million. But I saw another article where they broke it down and they were showing that, you know, the way it's structured, it really kind of strips it down to around in the 20s, maybe the mid-high 20s as far as his guarantees over a certain amount of time. Very similar to what the Steelers were doing. Now, we all know the Pittsburgh Steelers offered Le'Veon Bell a 5-year contract, $70 million, right? He was fully guaranteed. I mean, fully guaranteed is different from guarantees. So you always have to watch that word when you're looking at contracts. Fully guaranteed would be like if something happened tomorrow, boom, this is what I walk away with. Okay? We know how the Steelers do business. It's reported that Le'Veon Bell's guaranteed, fully guaranteed, I mean, no strings attached, with the offer that we gave him was 10 to 12 million. Most people are saying it was around 10 to 11 million dollars, okay? I get it. Le'Veon Bell, now again, they're saying the guaranteed money is going to be right around, it's not necessarily the 35, that's, you know, virtual guarantees, but from what I'm reading, saw several articles basically saying right around the 28 million point of view. Cool. But here's the thing. The way the Steelers structured his contract, right? Had Le'Veon Bell been on the roster for 2 seasons, which he would have, unless something catastrophic happened, he would have made $33 million in the first 2 years. They also designed it to where he would have made $45 million in the first 3 years of his contract. Now let's think about this for a moment. Le'Veon Bell last year was turning 26 years of age. Okay, he's going to turn 27 this year. At 26, had he signed that contract, you mean to tell me that the Steelers were going to get rid of him in 3 years? I doubt it very seriously. Basically, Le'Veon Bell would have made $45 million at least. And we know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are good at paying that full contract. So more than likely, I mean, he's probably 85 to 90%, you know, that he's going to get that full contract at least 3 years. You know, my guess is out of the 5 years, at worst, he would have only played 3 years. There's your $45 million. Okay? Now, I want to answer my own question. Do I think Le'Veon Bell won or lost with this situation? It depends on how you look at it. You know, essentially what Le'Veon Bell did, and, you know, shout outs to Dave and Alex. You know, I sent in my email. They do reader questions. I sent in my email talking about the contract. They actually read it on today's Terrible Towel podcast, so I appreciate them doing that. And, you know, Alex even hit me back on Twitter and said, yo, that was a good question, great way to put it. You know, I basically laid out what I just laid out to you guys. You know, I read it, I made it a little more elegant. I'll read it to you guys exactly. Not elegant, that ain't the right word. I made it more, I illustrated it a little more plain. But I'm going to read to you guys exactly what I sent to them, and this is exactly how I feel about the Le'Veon Bell contract situation. Excuse me. So here it is. I said the Steelers offered Bell $10 million fully guaranteed. Would have made $33 million in the first 2 years. Over the 5 years, $70 million contract. In this case, the deal for 4 years and $61 million, up to $61 million with 28 to 35 guarantee. Let's just say 35. Where Bell loses is his yearly average. That's the only loss in this situation. Would have made more money with the Steelers, plus his APY, average, you know, per year, matches the Steelers' original offer from 2017. Okay? That's very key to know. Remember, in 2017, the rumor was at that time that they offered Le'Veon Bell 3 years at $42 million. Okay? So then they came back last season and they offered him 5 years, $70 million, would have averaged about $15 million per year. So yes, if you look at it like that, Le'Veon Bell lost the situation because he bet on himself. The market wasn't as high as he thought, okay? And he couldn't get as much as he wanted. Remember, Le'Veon Bell's original point and his whole reason for doing this, he wanted to set the market. He wanted to be paid as a receiver like a number 2 receiver as well as a running back. You know, his idea was, look, I'm more than just a running back. And, you know, honestly, he was a huge part of our offense. I'd have to respect that and say, okay, I can understand him wanting to be paid more than what the position warrants. I never fought him, you know, I never faulted him for that, right? So in that regard, he lost. Because now he's settling for less than he wanted per year. He's also on record saying it would cost, it's going to be $100 million in order for me to pay for the Jets. That video is out there. I remember when he did that, and it was caught on TMZ, and he was basically clowning it, saying, yeah, they're going to have to pay $100 million in order for me to pay for the Jets. Now look what's going to happen. He goes to the Jets, and he's getting $61 million at max. But again, I can guarantee you the way that the Jets structured the contract, it's going to be easy for them to get up out of that contract after 2 years. Now, he didn't lose in this regard. He won in this regard. He got more guaranteed money. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I was trying to explain to a lot of people who felt as if the Steelers didn't try to pay him. Same reason why, and I told Kenyon and Tony this, same reason why I wish I could challenge Max Kellerman, you know, talking about this situation. And I love Max Kellerman. Again, I'm a boxing guy. So Max, I know Max from the boxing arena. You know, it just so happens that now he's on First Take or what have you. And he, you know, he kept trying to make the point of the Steelers didn't want to pay him. And there's so many of the media people. The Steelers didn't want to pay the guy. They, you know, they let him walk. They didn't try to pay him. I don't understand why people keep missing the fact that, yes, they did. They was going to make him the highest paid running back at $70 million contract. They just don't pay big guaranteed money, which is cool. You can agree or disagree with their method. That's just how they do their business. They're not a throw it out in front, you know, and give you all the money out the gate type of team. That just is what it is. So I just want to, you know, it just killed me when you had these type of conversations with people and they're trying to make the argument that the Steelers didn't try to pay them. Not true. They did try to pay him. Bell was right for saying I want more guaranteed money, which in this case he did get. He's going to get more guaranteed, technically. So he wins in that regard, but he loses in terms of what he set out for. You know, it looked like it was all for naught, even though he is going to be more guaranteed. And of course, guys, regardless of the amount that he's making, he's going to be fine for the rest of his life as long as he takes care of his money. That ain't really the issue. But to me, I feel like you still should have played. This is where I felt like Le'Veon Bell lost. Just to give you my thoughts, and then we'll take a look and see what you guys got. See if any callers are in the queue. We do have one call in the queue, so I'll grab you here in just a moment, 912. This is where I think he lost. Had you played last year, okay, you got the 12.1 or 12.5 the year before that on the franchise tag. Boom, bank that. Okay, had you played last year, that's another 14.5 that you would have had in your pocket, fully guaranteed. And I understand players are going to say, yeah, but what if I get hurt? Yeah, what if I get hurt? Okay, let me throw something at y'all. Did Earl Thomas get hurt last year? Yes or no? Did Earl Thomas get hurt last year? Didn't he just sign with the Ravens? And from what I think I saw, I don't quote me to this, but I believe they said it's about $23 million guaranteed. $40-something million fully, you know, full contract, you know, of course, if he stays the whole time. But my point is, Le'Veon Bell, even if he would have suffered an injury, you know, and of course, barring that it's a season, you know, like a career-ending injury, but even if he would have got slightly dinged up, he would have still been able to get the contract that he got from the Jets this year after pocketing another 14.5. That's where I feel like he lost the sit-out. That's where I feel like he lost it. Because at this point, all you did was got some more guaranteed money. And you didn't break the bank. You didn't get the Todd Gurley guarantee. You know, so that's how I feel is you kind of lost in terms of what your original goal was. But of course, he still wins because he does get more guaranteed money. So those are my quick thoughts on that. So let me grab the caller, man, before I go into the other stuff. Y'all see this person's comment here basically trying to say they're Le'Veon Bell. And watch the language. Please watch the language. Let me see. Let's grab the caller. Area code 912. Hold on. Let me make sure I can hear you. Give me just a second. Hold on, buddy. I don't hear any feedback, and make sure the audio is working. One moment. And we're going to take that call. I just want to make sure it's recording the desktop. I believe it is. All right, let's give it a whirl. Area code 912. You are live on the air, but I don't hear anything.
Sam?
Hello. Sam. I can't hear you. Hold on. Give me a second. Quick second. Hold on. For whatever reason, I can't hear anything. I saw you in the queue there. 1 second. Give me a second. Hold on. There we go. 912. You there?
Yeah.
There we go. My bad, man. I muted the headphones. That's my stupid mistake. How you doing, man? What you got for us tonight?
Doing good. Been watching you for a while on YouTube. Finally been able to get a hold to you with this new system you got here. I'm kind of low tech here.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man.
I was wondering. Yeah, I enjoy your show. I mean, it's nice that you're doing this. But I got a question. Does the Steelers get another pick, like a compensation pick for Le'Veon Bell? I heard at one time that they was talking about getting a number 3.
Yeah, we're supposed to. I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it's been confirmed yet. But it's, it's speculating that we would get a 3rd round, compensatory pick for Le'Veon Bell. And if I'm not mistaken, again, somebody in the chat might be able to correct me here. I don't know if that applies to the current season. I think that wouldn't apply until next year. But I could be wrong there. But yeah, that's, most of the speculation is what I'm hearing from, a lot of the resources that I listen to is that it should be a 3rd round pick. So, at least we get something for losing him. But I still hate to lose him, man. Even though I know how it's gone down.
Oh yeah.
I still hate to lose a talent like that.
Oh yeah. Both of them, him and Brown. I think these guys, Brown. I'm kind of, wondering if him and the Raiders had something going on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little strange, man.
It's like maybe they told him to go crazy, and bring the price down.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised because, I'm such a diehard Steelers fan. I wouldn't even watch the press conference, but I did see. Did you see the video with him going to Derek Carr's house? And they had like a little bromance.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh man, he put up a video and he called it special delivery. And he goes to his house and he's hugging him and I can't wait, finally, all of this stuff. His mustache is black, back to the regular color now. Look, he looks cleaned up. So, and again, he posted a video yesterday, which, some people were saying it could have been against the rules. He was basically saying that he was already in Oakland and he was going to go work out at their facility, which technically he wasn't supposed to do that until today. So you might be right, man. I kind of thought about that because it makes you wonder, okay, all of these other teams in the league kind of backed away from him. Why would Oakland just be so willing to do it? So
waiting in the wings.
Yeah, man, and we'll never know. But hey, I could go along with that. Maybe they had something going on there.
Yeah. Hey man, I was going to tell you, Kenyon, man, I enjoy his input, and I was wondering if if he can tell us some that like sleepers on running backs and linebackers, and because I was wondering if maybe we should back off from the 20th pick. I know Bush is good, but if we could back off and maybe trade back to 28th or 30th and get an extra pick. And do you know a linebacker by the name of Drew Tranquil or Blake Cashman? I wonder how they compare to Bush or you know, or some of them other ones like Trey Lamar.
Oh yeah, Trey Lamar. Yeah, I'm familiar with him a little bit. That's the Clemson kid, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah,
but, I mean,
I don't know those guys myself. I know Kenyon is listening. You know, definitely if he wants to come on tonight, you know, he's always welcome. Or you know, if he wants to save it until next week's Terrible Towel Tuesday. But that's a good question. I mean, I don't want to lose any picks, but like you said, if we can gain some back and still, you know, still be in a good spot, I almost feel like, though, and this is just my gut feeling, man, I feel like, I'm hoping anyway, that Kevin Colbert and them know that they missed last year. Where, you know, some people might say Rashaan Evans didn't have a great season. He didn't do that bad, but Leighton Vander Esch, wow. You know, so I feel like that Colbert knew that, because even if you listen to his conferences, he said, well, there's only a couple guys that, you know, are really impact guys. It's not that deep. And I think they know the same this year. I think everybody in the country is definitely looking at Devin White, Devin Bush, maybe even Mack Wilson might slide in there, but I don't think they're going to make that mistake again after seeing what we didn't have in John Bostic and even a Vince Williams. So, yeah, right. I don't know if they're going to go backwards this year, but we'll see, man. Anything's possible.
I think if we got a couple of twos and we got them 2 3s and some more further down the line, it seems like there's probably some sleepers further on down, and like McCole Hardman and the kid out of UMass, wide receivers. You know, if we back off a little bit and try to get some sleepers and build up, you know, because Roethlisberger is right here at the last of his years. So,
yeah,
you know, we're gonna take a few bad, probably 2 or 3 years, down years, because you got Cleveland that's up right now, and you know, maybe we can, you know, just get some picks right there around where we at right now while we're building, you know.
We shall see, man. Well, I definitely appreciate your call, man. I got to grab the next one here, but, you know, it's always good to hear from new guys. You are exactly the reason why I've gone to this new format. I know a lot of guys have expressed to me, hey, man, the Skype thing was cool, but I don't really use Skype. It'll be much easier to just call in. So, obviously, if you've been listening to the last 2 shows, the investment to do this has paid off. But I appreciate your call, man, and I appreciate the kind words as well. And appreciate your support. But let's go on and grab 225 really quick, and then I'll come back to the chat. Area code 225. You are live. What you got for us tonight? Oh, you got a little delay there. 225, you there? Dos cinco. Aquí. Adios.
Hello?
225. I don't know what happened there, man. I was there waiting for you. I heard you in the queue. I sat there. I spoke in English and Spanish, and still no answer. No say. My bad. Hopefully, maybe you'll call back. But I appreciate the call anyway. If you're listening in the queue, it sounded like it was a little delay from what I can hear relaying to you, which I understand it's going to be that way with the stream and all. But I could hear you there, but I just, you know, never got a response from you. So sorry about that if I clipped you off at the end. But anyway, let's move on, man. Let's look in the chat really, really quick. And before I get into the chat thing, and 912 that just called in, Kenyon is actually posting some, and some others in here. You know, shout outs to a lot of you guys in here who are putting some sleepers in there. I saw one guy said that they're familiar with Tranquil out of Notre Dame, said he's fire. So yeah, listen, there's always a possibility to do that, but, and I saw Kenyon kind of co-sign what I said as well. I don't know if we can do that 2 years in a row. I think we got to strike while the iron is hot. You know, if the top tier guys, if you've identified these guys as impact players, you got to go get them. Now, if we evaluate these guys and we feel like they're not impact players, then maybe you can fall back. Maybe you take another position in the first round or drop down in the first round and acquire some more picks. Not really sure how many teams might want to move to 20 though, depending on what type of player they're looking for. So anything's possible, but I feel like if you think Bush or Devin White or maybe Mac Wilson grades out a little higher after, you know, pro days and all, and I think you got to take that impact guy at 20. We've went out on the limb and we have paid. I see some people are saying that it still ain't making any moves. Listen, man, you must don't know your history. This is one of the biggest free agent acquisitions I've seen the Steelers do since I've been a fan. I mean, I'm not 100 years old or anything like that. You know, I can't even relate to the 70s. I'm not old enough to have watched the 70s teams. I just know, you know, even those guys were drafted guys. So since I've been watching, since, you know, I was a kid and old enough to watch, the Steelers don't usually do this, and they put up some money, you know, to get Steven Nelson, even though they still structured it in a comfortable format. We can't act like they didn't go out there. They tried to get Roby, okay? We know that to be a fact. He said it himself that he turned down the contract. You know, I know last year it was speculation that we went after Dante Hightower, but we didn't necessarily know. But we know they went after Roby this year. That was their number one, and it looks like they were determined to get a corner and paid some money for him. So I think the fact that they did that, I think it's clear they're going to go linebacker if the linebacker is there in the first round. And if the linebacker's not there, they might get the top receiver at 20, since they can probably turn around and get a corner later. See what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. But let's go to the chat really, really quick, man, and see what you guys are talking about. And speaking of the Cleveland Browns, my goodness, that's all I can say. My goodness, Cleveland is coming, man. Matter of fact, Cleveland is probably already here. Yinzamov says, I wouldn't mind moving up 5 to 8 spots for our first and third scenario like they discussed on the Terrible Podcast. Yeah, I agree with that. And listen, man, let me give you guys a round of applause. I wanted to give you guys a round of applause, man, because you should be listening to the Terrible Podcast. If you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. You know, I found those guys several years ago. Tony actually, you know, put me on to them, you know, when it was Dave and Dave. There was some miscommunication with the two Daves. You know, the Dave Bryant will even tell you himself he's a little tough to get along with sometimes. But I always liked when Alex Kazor, you know, did his piece, or when he filled in for David Todd. And that's probably why that relationship fractured, because, you know, I can clearly see that Dave Bryant is more like me in terms of he's about his business, meaning, okay, if we're going to do this thing, I need you to be there. So I think by David Todd, even though he had other obligations, not being able to be as available, I think that might be what kind of fractured their relationship. And then Alex became full-time, and I really like Alex Kazor, a younger guy. You know, Alex is about 22, 23 years old, if I'm not mistaken, but he knows his football. He knows his players. You know, he's pretty good at what he does, and they do a great job at SteelersDepot.com. So if you're not looking at SteelersDepot.com and also following that up with listening to the Terrible podcast that is linked to SteelersDepot.com, I don't know what to tell you. Again, I get a lot of good information from them and other sites, and it gives me a lot of reference material that we can talk about here. That I've even shared that with them even yesterday. I said, hey, listen, you know, I appreciate what you guys do, because it gives me a lot of information that I can speak on, and I'm educated on some things that I didn't know about. So I just wanted to plug them really quick. But anyway, let's get back to what you guys are saying. Smitty753 said they shouldn't have told Antonio Brown that they were going to trade him so he wouldn't have time to ruin his trade value. It would have caught him by surprise. Well, I agree with that, Smitty, but I think it's just a little thing, man, called professional courtesy. You know, I'm not going to fault the Steelers for doing that. I'm pretty sure they would exercise that with everyone that they talk to. You know, I'm pretty sure they would exercise the fact of saying, listen, hey, we're looking to trade you, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to fault them for, you know, I'm not going to fault the Steelers for not being shady. Because to me, that's corny. And I'm not saying that you're corny. I'm just saying when a business does that, they don't tell you nothing. Like, just imagine somebody come in your job tomorrow and be like, oh, matter of fact, you've been reassigned. Matter of fact, I'll tell you even one that I can personally contest to, and it shouldn't even matter to me because I work from home 4 days a week, okay? Right here in the man cave, I work from home 4 days a week. I commute into my home office 1 day a week, which is in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I know that's kind of a crazy commute. Me living in Pennsylvania takes me about 2 hours or so, a little over 2 hours to do it. But again, I can't complain. Making DC money, living where I'm at, cannot complain about that, and I'm at home 4 days a week. Okay, but here's a story. One time I went into the office and they done moved my seat all the way to the other side of the building. I was a little ticked off about it because nobody told me about it. It wasn't no big deal, but I was kind of like, I mean, y'all just gonna do it and don't tell me? Got the little stuff that I had there in a box. See what I'm saying? That was just on a minor scale. So imagine, you know, I would prefer a team to be like, listen, we're looking to trade you, et cetera, et cetera. I'm assuming they, you know, were under the impression that Antonio Brown would be more professional about the situation, and it wouldn't have came to this. But you know how that goes. What else y'all got? I do see one call in the queue, 412. I'm coming to you here in just a second. LeGoat James Jr. says coaches plays a big part in getting players playing right away. I agree with that. Alan Woodall says they are going to have to release Morgan Burnett because nobody is going to trade for him. You know what? You might have a point, Alan. I think that might be why they were holding on to him. I think they are holding on to him trying to get a trade situation. But they're going to have to get rid of him, man, because I cannot have Morgan Burnett on my team going into this season, especially after what he said. You know, he was vocal as well by saying he wants to be out, he wants to be let go. Let him go, and maybe that'll open up, well, not even maybe, that will open up some more cap room if you are looking to make a move at another free agent. No disrespect, but I'm not even going to say this name because I don't want to butcher it. My bad. I'm going to just call you AZ. Those are the first two letters of your name. Did anybody catch AB Oakland press conference? Oakland really wanted out of their way. They went out of their way to show AB that they are involved with his family. Yeah, man, I think that's kind of what my man was saying. The call who came in a little earlier, 912, was saying, and maybe this whole thing was a hoax, man, or it was planned between Oakland and AB, because there was a lot of jabs. I didn't watch the conference, first of all, because, again, I'm just crazy diehard like that. I don't hate AB, but I care not to know what's going on with him in Oakland outside of when the football season is there. Of course, I'm going to watch Oakland games because I'm sure they're going to be on more. I'm sure Cleveland games are going to be more exposed. I'm pretty sure we might even have a primetime game against Cleveland, okay, this year. Just saying, because of all the hype now. But I don't care to know what Antonio Brown is doing at Oakland, so there's no need for me to watch it. But I did see little excerpts, you know, on Twitter and all of that, and, you know, I heard that Antonio Brown was using the word kid a lot and all kinds of, you know, and again, you know, I did see the picture where Mayock and Gruden was all hugged up with his family. He had the same pictures in Pittsburgh. I'm just saying. And, of course, they're going to play up on that narrative, so whatever. Do what you got to do, AB. Kenyon says, Steelers like their DBs to be able to support against the run. That's why I don't like Greedy. He is a finesse corner. Okay. Okay. I have to agree with you on that one, Kenya. Now, Greedy doesn't seem to be the type of guy, as Dave Bryant would say about Steven Nelson, that will put his face in the fan. So you're absolutely right about that. Let me grab this call real quick, man. Area code 412. We got you here live tonight, man. How you doing? What's going on?
You there, Sim?
Yeah, I'm here.
You there?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Before I say anything else, I just wanted to say I love this show, and I just love to see what other Steelers fans and even fans from other teams have to say about everything that's going on in the NFL. But,
I appreciate it. Definitely thank you for that, man.
It's a little off topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
But about the Browns and the Odell Beckham trade, I feel like it wasn't, like, 'cause, Odell Beckham's a big playmaker and probably will be for their team.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets injured a lot, and they also traded away a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and one of their key pieces of their defense in, what's his name again, Jabril Peppers.
Yeah. That could be huge.
'Cause, like, I think the only real good player on their defense now is just Myles Garrett. But,
they still got, what's my guy? Who's the corner who went real early last year? Denzel Ward. I think he's going to be special.
Forgot about him. But, I was just talking to some of my friends about OBJ, and I feel like, I just feel like he's going to get injured again this year, like he did last year for the Giants. And I think it was a real good trade and a good deal for the Giants, though, because they're losing Landon Collins. They got another safety, first-round pick, and a third round. I'm seeing all these other trades. It just makes our trade look like garbage.
It does. I have to admit. But you know what? I'm glad you gave that perspective, man, because that's kind of the way I try to look at everything. Even if I agree or disagree with something, I say, all right, I agree with this, but let me look at the other side. Or I disagree with that, but let me look at the other side. And I did that immediately with that trade. The shock value was like, whoa, y'all got rid of Odell Beckham Jr.? But then I thought about it. I was like, okay, clearly the Giants are starting to reset. They did get another first round, which might allow them to go get the quarterback that they might want. A third, an immersion Jabril Peppers. It's not like, personally at this stage of their career, I probably would have preferred to have Landon Collins, but I think Peppers might turn into something. He might not, but it's not like, and I saw a lot of people saying they should have got way more than that. And I'm like, well, you make a great point. He has had injuries. He could be perhaps a disruptive personality in their locker room as well. So it was a shock, but I agree with you. You got to look at it from both sides. And I think the Giants may have come out okay. I don't like how their general manager has been doing things, so I definitely see the criticism. But we'll see. Maybe it'll work out for them, maybe not. But let's say he goes to Cleveland and balls out. Then I'm going to be like, wow. But honestly, though, man, I don't think it was going to happen for him in New York anymore as long as Eli's there and as long as that offensive line is in the shape that it's in. So,
yeah,
there you have it.
But, speaking of the draft, do you think there's any chance we'll, trade up and maybe get Devin White? Because, he's definitely not going to be there at 20.
I hope so. Of course, it's always going to depend on, I think, the first 10 picks. I think we could see another situation like we saw when we acquired Palomalu. If they identify White as the guy, if he goes early, like let's say he's picked, I don't think they're going all the way up to 7th, 8th, 9th. I think the Steelers, if they move from 20, I'm thinking around 15 seems feasible. Maybe they stretch and go all the way up to 10, but I don't think they get inside of that. So if White is still sitting there after 11 picks, it's possible. Why not? If they could give up. I would hate for us to give up that 3rd round pick that we got from Oakland, because I think that's in a good spot. But if they can, you know, finesse the situation and maybe give up the original 3rd round pick, I'm cool with that. If they could get a Devin White, that would make my day. But I won't say that they won't do it, because we've seen them do it, and most of us have been around long enough to watch the Steelers when Polamalu was there. So we've at least seen them do that at least one time since I've been watching. So it's possible, but I wouldn't hold my breath, but it is possible for them to do it.
You know, I was thinking we're probably going to go receiver with that 3rd round pick that we got from the Oakland. It's basically like just a late second.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm thinking we probably go receiver the 3rd round and then take a corner, because this receiver class, we could even go receiver in the 4th if we wanted to. It's just, this is a really deep receiver class.
Yeah, man, we shall see. I hope we at least make a move. I'm going to go ahead and got to move on to the next call, man, but I definitely appreciate your call. Appreciate you calling in from the 412 there. But yeah, I agree with that. I think if we do it in the 3rd, I'm gonna throw Kenyon a shot right here. Kenyon will be happy about this. Kenyon is high on Hakeem Butler, man, and I've been watching Hakeem for the last 2 days now. Let me just say this. I know some people are gonna say he's raw, he needs work, but listen, a lot of receivers are gonna need some work. I like the size on that guy. I like the way he attacks the ball. I like the fact that he will just go up and get it. He seems to always be aware of where the ball is, so his ball skills seems to be cool. What I'm going to do next, I've watched a lot of chopped up game footage, not necessarily highlights, but now I want to go back and find an actual game or two, watch the whole thing, so I can look at all of the other intangibles. But again, the Steelers are good with developing these guys. You know, Martavis Bryant pretty much was raw. And I don't know if he ever developed into the dynamo that we wanted him to be. But for real, at this point, Debbie made this point on the last show. All I need is the X guy is to just do that. The rookie. Fly. Run him off of Juju. And when we get you in a one-on-one and we get a favorable matchup with you being 6'6", Ben gonna toss it up to you. I would take that. And the reason why I say I go with him, because let's say we do wait until the 3rd round, he'll probably be there, and that'll be a good guy to grab. And I'm not gonna say all, but some of the other guys I've looked at, you know, I know a lot of you guys were telling me to watch, you know, look out at Paris Campbell. I take a look at a little bit of his, a little bit of his film. Of course, I'm big on Deebo Samuel, but these dudes are smaller guys. We need, in my opinion, another big guy on the outside. Hakeem Butler could be that, and I'm just saying, why not take a chance? You know, he's a project guy as far as having to, you know, mold him, but why not? I think that's a good pick in the 3rd round, perhaps. So, yeah. 2 more callers here, man. I see 225 is back. I'm going to grab 215 and then come back to 225, and then that's probably going to wrap us up for the night. Area code 215, you are live. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam, what's up, man?
What's going on?
So I got a few questions for you today. So I was so why do you think that we re-signed Barry? How do you feel about that?
Oh man, that's a good question. I didn't like it at first.
I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of him at all.
Me neither, man.
He don't push the ball.
Yeah, to me, I feel like he's not consistent enough. There's times when Barry knocks the skin off the ball, and then there's other times where it's. I mean, we've seen these games that we've been in. Exactly. We've been in these close games in this past season, and he doesn't give us the flip of feel. I wasn't expecting it. And also, you know, while we're talking contracts, how do you feel about the Chicolo signing? I wasn't expecting that either.
I'm not happy with it. Yeah, I thought we overpaid for him, way overpriced for him.
Yeah, man. I think, and I was going to say this anyway, so I might as well say it now. I think what happened with that is it shows you the lack of attention we may have paid, may have paid to that position, or lack of development. Because also, in case you guys don't know, Bud Dupree, as of now, will be playing on a $9 million 5th-year option. And then you sign Chicolo to that deal. And it clearly goes to show you that we don't have the depth. That is very concerning. When you have to sign again, I'm not knocking Chicolo. I think he's a good special teamer, and I think he gives us a little, when he comes in, but not at that price.
Not that price at all.
Definitely not Bud Dupree at $9 million on a 1-year deal. Like, my goodness. But
yeah, I agree.
That's what we're stuck with, man. Yeah, go ahead.
So, do you think that we'll cut Artie since we signed Steven Nelson?
Ooh, now we get the good questions.
I mean, and another question while you're answering, is Steven Nelson even good? I mean, I don't really know much about him.
Steven Nelson is, I would say he's solid. If you look, if you can actually, if you don't have time to, kind of look at his film, go to SteelersDepot.com and look at Alex's write-up on him. It's right on the money. This guy can play like a lights-out corner, and then there's times that he plays like a guy that's just, he'll give up the big play, he'll make a big play. But what he is good at, he's physical, he's scrappy, and he usually, he goes and tries to get the ball. He had 4 interceptions last year, 16 pass deflections. But again, even if you watch the game, man, against them and the Patriots, there's some plays he's going to give up. I don't know if you remember the Rams game, and I remember saying this when I watched it live, and I forgot it was actually him. When they played the Rams, and it was, 54-51, there was a play deep down the sideline to Brandon Cooks. Had him beat, but he recovered and was able to knock the ball out of his hand right before he went into the end zone. So that's what I see that he does well. Even when he's beat, he recovers pretty good, but he may give up a play. And honestly, man, I kind of feel like with corners, I feel like, just me personally, sometimes I think I'm expecting too much out of a cornerback. They all going to get beat. Even Deion Sanders got beat from time to time. But I just want to see consistency. I don't want to see a Artie Burns situation where almost every time he goes out there, we're all looking like, oh, God, what's going to happen? I don't want that guy. So as long as Steven Nelson makes some plays and we see that he flashes from time to time, that's really all we need on our defense. We need, and I made this point to Kenyon last night, I think Steven Nelson and Joe Hayden will give us more opportunity to play a little more man in key situations and allow more time to pressure to get there. I think that's where we're going to improve this year.
Well, we're going to need to with the Browns now.
Yeah. So that's what I got as far as
one more question. I was in deep thought about this. So with the whole Brown trade, is it just me or am I overthinking it? So he went to Oakland out of the blue, which he really never complained about being traded with that. So this is kind of like a new thing. He really never spoke about that. So do you feel as if it's like an NFL thing because they're going to Vegas and they need to keep the Raiders relevant, basically? So they put one of the hottest players on Oakland to make them relevant again, like to keep the NFL sort of going for that team. Like, is it just me overlooking it, or do you feel like something's funny about that? Because Brown never really requested trades before like that. He might have cried and bitched a lot, but excuse my French.
That's
he
all
might
right.
have cried and stuff like that, but he never requested. He never did that type of stuff. I mean, I just feel like there's like money under the table without people who can see things. And I'm sure they paid the Steelers off. I feel like they paid the Steelers off a few dollars too, just to keep certain things relevant in the NFL. I mean, because they're going to Vegas. It's a beautiful stadium. Like, am I overthinking it, or can it possibly be like that way also?
Nah, I wouldn't put it past them, man. And I'm gonna move on to this last caller, but I thank you for calling. But I will answer your question. Listen, anything's possible. Because again, I think I said it on last night's show. I'm the type of person that I listen to conspiracy theories. Because sometimes people make great arguments, and you could kind of see where, oh yeah, well I can see how that might have happened. But I'm gonna be honest, man. When it comes to football, I will openly say I'm gonna be naive until the end. And the reason why I say that is because the day that I really feel in my heart, I mean, I'm convicted at the fact that I know it's shady, it's fixed, and all of that, I can't be a part of it no more. I wouldn't be able to do it. And at this point, I'm not ready to let it go. So I just ride with faith, and I hope that it's all legitimate. Excuse me. But again, anything's possible, man, when you're talking about money and politics, and hey, anything's possible. All right, man. I see we got another caller coming in after 225. It's area 336, and then I think that's going to be the last call. I'm going to have to shut it down tonight. I didn't intend on being on this long tonight, but again, man, when we talking Steelers, time just seems to fly. Area 225, you are live. Hello, hello, hello.
What up, son?
Yo, what's going on?
So you can hear me? Yeah, there is kind of the delay between me and you, bro.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, man, do you really think it gotta be Big Ben, huh? For scaring away our stars, man. I mean, it gotta be Big Ben, bro. For Le'Veon to leave just to take less money to go to the Jets, I mean,
I don't think Le'Veon's case at AB. This is just my opinion. I don't think I can lump them together, only because I believe in Le'Veon as far as what he was trying to do. I believe he legitimately was trying to reset the market. He wanted to be paid like a number 2 receiver. We heard that in the first year when they tried to give him a contract. I believe him. I don't think Ben would have had as much influence on him as far as, him not feeling Ben the same way AB may have. Now, I definitely believe there's something going on there, because the key thing that made me finally believe it is what he said in Denver. I don't ever remember hearing him call out Antonio Brown in any game. Never. That was the first time I ever heard him say, I mean, AB's got to run a flatter route. AB? I mean, even I ain't saying AB is above criticism, but that's your guy. And
right.
Then right after that, he says, I wish we would have threw the ball to Juju 4 times. Come on. Ben is smarter than that. You mean to tell me Ben didn't think that was going to cause a problem? And so I definitely believe there was a fraction in their relationship. No question. And he helped to push AB out of that situation. But I don't know about the Le'Veon one. The Le'Veon one, I really believe Le'Veon was really trying to get that money and secure more guaranteed money for himself.
Right, I believe that too. And another thing, I also believe Steven Nelson. That was a good pickup. I think he's a very solid corner. I will with it.
Yeah, I think he's good, man. I think it's kind of like this. As Steelers fans, it sucks, but I think we all understand now that they're not gonna go get the top guy, like when Gilmore was the guy, a few years back. But I think this signing is gonna be more of a solid signing than we think, because I haven't seen them spend this kind of money on a free agent cornerback. And I think the dude can play, and I think even his inconsistencies, man, are they can be fixed, and that's where I think Terrell Austin is gonna come into play. So I'm kind of excited, man, to see what they're gonna do, because I definitely believe that the Steelers are gonna grab another corner somewhere. So I think that's. Oh, I didn't even answer my man's question on the last call about Artie. I'll say that real quick. I think Artie Burns will make it to camp, but I have a feeling he could very well get cut, especially if we get another cornerback and he shows up.
Right.
But he'll be in training camp. I believe that. I mean, he's still on his rookie deal.
And I also believe with Kenyon too. I don't think Greedy Williams would be a good pickup for us. Like, I don't like him. I don't like his technique. I know he's pretty much a man-to-man corner, but his feet work is horrible. I really can't get into him. He kind of reminds me of Ike Taylor too, though. Like he just relies more on speed and his length. But them the kind of guys that most likely get beat in the NFL.
Yeah.
On a big phase. You know what I'm saying? But I remember that time we were playing against the Cardinals, and he got beat on that quick slant. You know, Ike Taylor, but he a track guy. You know what I'm saying? Like how you get beat straight through. You know, it just be like some plays like that be getting me off.
We needed Ike Taylor to play against AJ Green every game. We would have been all right. I don't know how he was able to shut AJ down like that, but he could. Crazy.
Right. And he'll give you a good game like that once in a while.
Yeah,
but all the
crazy.
linebackers, I believe my top two would be Devin White and Mac Wilson. I like both of those guys.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping Mac Wilson, and I appreciate your call, man. I'm going to move on to the last call here. It's actually area 828-336 fell off, but this will be the last call of the night. And thanks 225 for calling back. I know we couldn't connect the first couple times. I think Mac Wilson, to me, I watched a lot of film on him. I like his motor. I like his energy. He has some inconsistencies, yes, but I think he could still be in play if he performs well at his pro day. I think the reason why Mac Wilson is not being talked about as much is, again, Mac Wilson might have been the number 2 guy in a lot of people's eyes, again, coming from Alabama, having a pedigree. And even when you watch him play, of course, none of these guys are perfect, but you can see, okay, this guy got some talent, right? But Devin Bush has emerged over him, jumped well over him, because the only knock on Bush was, quote unquote, again, he's not a super short guy just as a regular human being at 5'10" and a half or whatever he is, but that's not really what you're looking for at middle linebacker. But when you cut on his film, then you match that with how he performed at the combine, you like, okay, this kid is ready, and he's a leader. And we already know what Devin White brings to the table. So, but I say all that to say this: Mac Wilson could be that guy that, if, I hate using this comparison, y'all gonna kill me for this because we hope it don't turn out this way. Mac Wilson could end up being what Artie Burns was for us in terms of why we picked him. And what I mean is, your William Jackson III is off the board. I forget some of the other guys who was in that class, but that's why we got Artie Burns. We had to do it. We took a chance. Mac Wilson could end up being that. If Bush is gone, Devin White is gone, Wilson will probably be there at 20. He might end up being that guy because we know we have to go inside linebacker. So don't be shocked. But I would prefer Devin White or Devin Bush. And again, maybe Mac Wilson could turn a few more heads at the pro day. Again, I think, just looking at how he plays, I don't think it would be a horrible pick. But if I had my picks, it would be in that order: White, Bush, then maybe Mac Wilson. Last call of the night, man. Area code 828. You are live. What's going on tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I just wanted to tell you that I was a big fan of the channel.
Appreciate it, man.
But I'm actually a Ravens fan.
Hey, no problem, man. Hey, I don't hate Ravens fans. I got quite a few people I know that's Ravens fans.
I wanted to ask you how you felt about us signing Earl Thomas.
Huge, man, because even though Earl is he's 30 now. Well, he's about to be 30. I think he's actually 29, but I believe he'll turn 30 this year. I still think he got something in the tank, and I think he's going to give you what they were looking to get from Eric Weddle when they first signed Weddle. Weddle did a good job when he was there, but he's gone down a bit now in the last season, and I think now you have upgraded that position to where, what I love about the Ravens, I love how y'all disguise that defense. How you got guys running up to the line, running back. We used to do that. And if you could get Earl Thomas in that mix, a guy who can actually roam the center field, yeah, that's going to be a problem. So I like that move.
Yeah,
I really like the move for Mark Ingram as well.
Yeah, I was hoping we would get Bell though.
Nah, that won't gonna happen, man. You gotta think.
I know.
The Ravens ain't paying no money like that for no running back. I knew they weren't doing that. I knew that was just a rumor. Cause the Ravens, y'all don't spend crazy money in certain positions. And what Bell was looking for, nah. Because think about it. Last year, even though I think Collins is gone now, look at what the production y'all was able to get out of those running backs with Lamar Jackson. Really no reason to bring in Le'Veon Bell because the Ravens, in my opinion, are not going to use Bell the same way the Steelers did, only because y'all don't have that type of quarterback. I think it's still going to be, the way they use Lamar Jackson. You're probably going to mix in a little more play action, but I don't think Lamar Jackson all of a sudden in the next season going to turn into this pocket passer. You're splitting out the running back and all of that the way the Steelers would have used Bell. So that's why I always felt. A lot of, some people say, oh, you just don't want him to go there. I'm like, nah, I don't think he fits. Not with what they doing, but Mark Ingram going to get y'all something. I guarantee it. He's going to be solid for y'all.
I was surprised they even gave Earl Thomas the money they gave him, knowing what we do.
Yeah.
Free agency in the past.
But they freed up some money, though. There's no C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, no, I was mad about that.
That's crazy. I mean, come
Mosley's
on.
a good player.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that one. I thought at least you put a tag on him, but shocked me, man. I thought for sure
he was going to re-sign.
Yep. And with Suggs, man, Suggs just want to go back home. That's all that is. He going to go home to Arizona and retire. That's all that was.
Yeah, they gave Mosley what, at least was it $17 million a year?
Ridiculous money.
That's why they didn't match that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that we have to look at too. I'm pretty sure the Ravens was talking to Mosley, trying to filling him out, figuring out what he would want. And a lot of times, that's why I know as fans, a lot of times we'll say I can't understand why they did that, but you better believe that that's the reason why. They knew probably what he was looking for, and they said, okay, we're gonna let you test the market, and if you get what you get, good luck. If not, maybe we get back with you later. But that's all that was. They couldn't pay that. They weren't gonna pay that.
They offered him a contract one time. He turned it down. Then they offered him again, but it still wasn't competing with New York's offer.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, man, I got to go ahead and move on, man. I definitely appreciate your call tonight, and we're going to shut down the calls for tonight, man. I'm getting ready to wrap up an hour and 7 minutes. And here I told my wife that, it ain't going to be that long tonight. So I didn't intend on being on so long, but you guys, man, y'all make it what it is. So got to go ahead and shut it down here. But let's read 2 or 3 more comments from the chat. And I'm sorry, guys, that I can't be in the chat as much, but obviously with the phone calls coming now, that's going to get cut down. Again, let me say this. I have to say it. What I'm going to have to start doing going forward, as you can tell, since I've started with the phone calls, I don't ask for anyone to pay or nothing like that. But what I will say is if you want to come on and you want to come on now, the only way that I can prioritize your call, again, a win for me, a win for you, you drop a donation, it'll pop up, and I can say, okay, you put that in the chat, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm area code, da-da-da-da, bring me on, I'll move you right up to the top of the queue. Not trying to be unfair to anybody, I'm just saying, other than that, the only way I could do it is just going by in the order that they were received. And again, the only reason why I'm even mentioning that is, like I said, I watch a lot of podcasts and things like that, and I kind of follow some of those structures to make sure everything is running properly, and I've seen them implement something like that. But again, you don't have to do it. You do not have to do it. But only if you want to be prioritized and you want to come on now, drop a little donation, and you say, hey, I'm area code so-and-so in the queue, bring me on, and I'll bring you on right away. All right? That's fair? All right, let's read the comments real quick, man. A few comments, and then we're out of here. Raider78 ain't nothing to do with no tenure. The best man go win the job, and Dobbs mediocre looked horrible against the Raiders, while Ben was faking hurt, so Rudolph ain't got a chance. You will see soon. Excuse me. I think Mason Rudolph is going to overtake Joshua Dobbs. No disrespect to Dobbs, man, but it's the same way I felt about Dobbs coming out of college. You know, I think he's a heady guy. Obviously, he's extremely smart. We all know, you know, what he studied in college. He's just not the quarterback that's going to run the Steelers offense. He's just not. He doesn't have that. Unless he just wows us in training camp. I think Mason Rudolph, I like his prototype. I'm not sure about his game yet. He's going to have to prove it. But I think Mason Rudolph can seize the opportunity here, become the number 2. He should be motivated, and he'll be able to get more time and more reps. And maybe he is the heir apparent. Who knows? But I would like to see Mason Rudolph overtake Joshua Dobbs because, again, being a 3rd-round pick last year, I need to see value from that pick. So my money would be rooting for Mason Rudolph. Dan Matt says Steven Nelson, 549 snaps in coverage, more than any other defender this season. Targeted 86 times, lead the league. Completion percentage of just 50%. 5th best among cornerbacks with 25 or more targets. Listen, Dan, I'm going to give you a round of applause there, buddy. Huge round of applause there, because I heard some more analysis on Steven Nelson as well, and they were speaking along those lines saying this guy was on the field a lot. And they also made it a point to say that they were targeted a lot, just their defense, because the Chiefs a lot of times were building the lead, or either teams were trying to build the lead on them. It was, you know, a lot of those next-gen stats. And yes, again, that's how I feel too, man. If you go look at some of their games, of course you're going to see him give up some plays here and there, because, I mean, you throw the ball at somebody 100 times, how many times is the offensive player going to make the catch? So you have to dive deeper, and that's great analysis again by Dan Matt. I will read it one more time for you guys that didn't hear it. He said, here's Steven Nelson, 549 snaps in coverage, more than any other defender this season, targeted 86 times, led the league in that, completion percentage of just 50%, and 5th best among cornerbacks with 25 or more targets. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, to me, he's definitely going to be an upgrade over what we got right now at right cornerback. Lance Watson says, hey, Sim, do you think we'll take Juju out of the slot? It all depends, man. It all depends on who we get via free agency and or the draft at outside. Chris Conley is a name I keep hearing. I take him. You know, he's not a world beater, but again, it's a guy with experience that can play the X, that can allow Juju to stay inside. I still think when we go 2 receiver sets, it's probably still going to be Juju and James Washington on the outside. I want Juju to stay in the slot. However, we did see what Juju can do on the outside, even though he was opposite Antonio Brown when Martavis Bryant was suspended, you know, last season. Not this past season, but you guys know what I mean when I say last season. So I think he's able to play it. I think he's well versatile enough to do it. I just prefer him in the slot. He works way much better in the slot. That's where he gets off, and that's where his advantages are. All right, guys, I'm going to read one more comment, man, and then I got to get out of here. I see Joe Chile says, I think we need to draft Hakeem Butler. I know Kenya would be happy about that. Absolutely. And Joe also says he's a matchup nightmare talking about Hakeem Butler. So, all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. I can't promise, probably won't be back tomorrow because, again, on Thursday nights, you know, I do another podcast. I do the Sim Standard. That's more leaning towards the gaming aspect. Me and my good buddy Smitty, we do, you know, a gaming podcast there where we particularly talk about Madden, things like that, the good, bad, and the ugly. So that's what's going to go down tomorrow night. However, if there's any crazy news that breaks tomorrow, I might do a pre-recorded video just to discuss it. But if not, the next time you may or may not see me will be on Friday. Again, unless there's real information to talk about, I may not be back again until next Tuesday for Terrible Towel Tuesday. But hopefully there's some more news, some more signings, or something to talk about between now and, let's say, Saturday. And at least one of those days, we'll do another live show to discuss whatever information that is. All right, but before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that like button right there, right there. Throw that little green thumb up, man. Hit that like button. Do your boy a favor and do that. And last but not least, make sure you click on that little notification bell so you know when these videos are streaming or if it's an upload that you can watch that's pre-recorded. All right, outside of that, man, you guys have a great night. I think the Warriors and the Rockets are playing. I'm going to go peep out the rest of that game for you basketball heads. But outside of that, stay locked to the news. Let's see if anything breaks, shakes, or hopefully we sign somebody else that can make a difference. All right, catch you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a good night. God bless. Peace.